Hey everybody, Rose Matter here, and welcome to part 10 of my Danganronpa Another Let's Play. So we are about to head into the third class trial, and I am not feeling confident because, first of all, I did really bad on the last class trial in this game, and the third class trials in Danganronpa games are kind of notorious for being, like, I would say the weaker ones overall, and they tend to be kind of complicated, and I do not usually do well in the third class trials, so hopefully this one will be better, because it's not a mainline Danganronpa game, so as usual with the third ones, we have two dead students, and it seems like a pretty complicated case. We have two people dead around the same time, but in two different floors completely, so how it got pulled off, that's going to be the big question, is how this happened. So, I don't know, wish me luck guys, hopefully this one will go better than the last time. And I'm excited to find out who the culprit is, so let's get back into this game. Even the music sounds more, like, intense. Like, my gosh, like, I'm already stressing about this one. Alright, definitely we're gonna check these truth bullets, because I need to get myself reacquainted with stuff. Alright, the victim was Kokoro Yamaguchi. The estimated time of death was about 8:40, found in the library, sharply cut from the back neck to the uvula. The weapon is presumed to be something sharp, and there are no other visible trauma. Okay, so he died at 8:40. Kanata died at 8:35. Okay. The victim is Kanata Inori. Estimated time of death is approximately 8:35. The body was found in the science lab. Death was electrocution. The internal organs of the body, as well as the skin, have been burned through the wet body for a long time. Alright, his neck was cut deep enough to be almost amputated. However, no more blood came out of the wound. It was not long after his death. Even so, why did he already have so much bleeding? Large amount of blood was poured from the body of Yamaguchi in the library to the corridor in front of the door. Yamaguchi appears to have shed, but can he shed so much blood in that short death from time to discovery? In addition to that, there was a pit of blood under the body. This means the blood didn't flow after Yamaguchi fell in the library, but rather his bleeding started and then he fell down. What happened? Yes, and also Kinjo was attacked. I don't think we're going to have a situation like we did with Akane, where, like, she set herself up to be hurt to, I guess, put, like, the suspicion off of her. Kinjo feels like a character who's going to be with us through to the end, so I doubt he has anything to do with this. There was a bloodstain from Kinjo in the library. He was said to have fallen unconscious a little farther away from the body, meaning Yamaguchi's corpse. There seems to be no struggle signs from Yamaguchi's body, so it seems Kinjo was attacked after entering the library and fell down. But I can't imagine Yamaguchi attacking Kinjo and getting knocked out. That's the question I have, is like, who in the world would attack Yamaguchi? He's like the biggest dude. Tyra's testimony. According to Tyra, she stopped by the science room just before nighttime last night. However, the door to the science room was not open. Surely the door didn't open even when I found Inori's body in the morning, but what is the reason for that? And that's right, Makaru was also... And I doubt she's got anything to do with it too. But I could be wrong. This is the locker where Makaru was tied up. There's a lot of blood on the inside. Even if Makaru was unharmed, who is the owner of the blood? The blood wasn't sticky, was almost dry and hardened. In other words, it's blood that has been spilled for quite some time. There are a few conditions that could match. How did this happen? Now the thing is, we don't know whose blood is whose. It's not like we can take a blood test to determine it. Plaster weapon in the art room. Besides its looks, it's quite sharp and you can be cut if used wrongly. However, the location of the plaster weapon was a little strange, so while looking at it, I noticed blood splattered in a small dot circle on the blade. I don't know why the blood splattered in there, but the presence of blood may indicate the tool was used as a murder weapon. This is the white coat Inori was wearing. Inori's body in the science room was not wearing a white coat, but only the white coat was in the art room. It's soaked in blood, but what did the killer use this white coat for? And who is the owner of the blood on the white coat? Bloody tarp came out of a bag in the trash bin from the art room. There was a lot of blood on it, and there was a very small back hole in the middle. So that's most likely going to come from the weapon. So maybe Yamaguchi's body was moved with the tarp to, like, conceal the blood, and then it spilled out after he was dumped. If you look at the blood on it, it's very likely this object has a connection in the case. What was it used for then? Inori's body. The state of Inori's body, who died in the science lab. The whole body was tied with 4 folds and 5 layers of public box tape, and both hands were tied with ropes and fixed to the table. If I was tied up this much, I wouldn't have been able to bear it. However, what was the reason to tie Inori so thoroughly? Science lab flood. Sink in the science lab where you can throw away medicines or wash your hands, and the faucet there keeps it overflowing with water. I think I've been listening to it for a long time because it overflowed with water. What was the reason to make the room overflow? Now, the thing is, there was, if she was electrocuted, so I'm guessing that, like, so she died first, but that could have been set up way ahead of time because they made it seem like the deaths only happened a couple of minutes apart. And, like, we heard Inori screaming, right? So, like, we were there the moment that she died. So it seemed like it was set up ahead of time. So that could have been set up, like, overnight, and then she could have just been there and then just, you know, died in that moment. So that could explain how those deaths could have happened within just a couple of minutes of each other. Broken mobile phone, a cell phone in a broken state after falling into a water lump in the science lab. It seems that somebody set the alarm at 8:30. But other than that, the screen is also weird, and most of it seems malfunctioning. Separately, it was tied with a stun gun and a strap. Is it a tool related to the crime? Okay, I either don't remember or I didn't catch that about the alarm being set for 8:30. So Nori died at 8:35, and it was attached to the stun gun. So what I'm thinking happened is if it was like on top of the, like on the counter, so maybe the alarm was set off to go, and then like by buzzing, it moved off of the table into the water with a stun gun and electrocuted Inori, and that way it's like, you know, set up for it to go off at a certain amount of time. I'm thinking more and more that that's the case of what happened, so Inori's thing was set up way ahead of time. Stun gun, or stung gun, according to this. A stun gun that fell into the water in the science lab with a cell phone. It's written in the Monokuma file this would be a murder weapon that killed Inori. One thing that's curious, it was connected to the phone strap. This is the murder weapon. It means the killer took this and killed Inori. How is this possible? Yeah, it seems like that's what happened with Inori, at least. But then, yeah, the person sealed up the room, but they had to have been able to get out another way, right? Because if they sealed the door up to the science lab, a wooden board that was blocking the door of the science lab. At the time of the incident, I was unable to enter the science room. Because of this, Makaru had to use an object to break the window of the door and remove the boards. If you close it while standing on the back of the underpass door, it becomes an excellent clasp. Makaru's testimony. When I pulled Makaru out of the locker, she asked me to show my right hand. Makaru called this action minimal precaution for life-saving, which is her last trump card. The trial gets blocked at some point and everyone's in danger of dying, she'll let me know. Makaru seems to know something. Once again, it does feel a little bit of a anticlimactic thing that at any point Makaru could just come in and just be like, alright, I know what happened. Like, it kind of takes some of the excitement away and the tension. Missing blood packs. The refrigerator for the infirmary. Oh, I forgot about this. Infirmary's transfusion pack was empty, all of it. Someone took the blood transfusion packs away. Was it the culprit? So that could be to explain, like, the blood pools and stuff to maybe make it seem like it was more fresh. Oh, right? Oh, so with Yamaguchi, maybe that is what happened. So maybe he was killed. Maybe he was killed in the art room. They took the tarp and dumped his body and then put, like, the blood packs around him to spill the blood to make it seem like it was more recent. Maybe? Why did they need fresh blood? Kinjo's testimony. Just before the trial announcement was made, Kinjo woke up. He quickly disappeared, saying he had to do a little investigating before the trial began. Yesterday, he mentioned he found the pit and Yamaguchi lying down in the library. He was attacked from behind at night, but according to the statement, it would mean that Yamaguchi was already attacked yesterday at dawn. Alright, so that's all of it. Okay, well, it feels like at least certain things, more with Inori than Yamaguchi, but it feels like I have some ideas. Oh, I guess I have to give my... Shoot, I have to kind of give my idea of who I think could have done this. I have no idea, to be honest. I'm trying to remember where everybody was at the time. Oh, shoot, Now, here's the thing, too, is was it one person working alone or was there a culprit? Because normally with the third-class trials, from what I can remember, you usually have two people working together. So I'm just trying to think of, like, who would be working together. I'm coming up blank. I'm thinking maybe the priest, right? Because didn't he get knocked out or he was attacked as well? And if somebody was working with him, I don't know. I don't know. I have no reason to think the priest just because he was kind of in the general vicinity at the time. But that's my guess, but I have no reason behind it. So, alright, anyway, let's get in with the class trial. I'm super excited and nervous. Now then, let's begin with a brief explanation of the class trial. The outcome of the class trial is decided by your votes. If you point out the blackened, only they will get punished, but in case you point out the wrong one, everyone will be punished, and the one who deceived everyone else will graduate from this academy. Also, this translation is brought... Okay. Thank you, thank you. Alright, we have to find the culprit who killed Kanata-chan and Yamaguchi-kun, right? That's right. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Now then, you may start your discussion. You know, this is a little awkward, but can Kinjo lead again? I could keep you on top of my reasoning, but unfortunately, I won't be very helpful this time either. I investigated in a hurry, but I don't know the details of the case, and there are several parts that I could not investigate. So Kinjo won't be as useful, but Makaro still, she seems like she's got that trump card, as she said, with the hand thing, which means that maybe I guess that maybe she bit somebody on the hand, or she caused some damage, or she noticed something on somebody's hand, and could be the culprit? You'd think Makaro would have just checked everybody's hands right away before this, because you got beat and knocked out by the killer, right? Then we have no choice but to do it ourselves as much as possible. It's going to be a miracle if Makaro helps us. Now it'll be fine. If you keep talking, we'll reach an answer, right? When you start discussing, Kinjo might find out something too. I hope so. Then let's do it as far as we can. This case has been far more different than the others. Unlike Maki or Tamori, who died suddenly while we couldn't see them, the murder took place right in front of us. I'm just trying to remember everybody's placements at the time. Because the thing is, like, everybody seemed to have been, like, in a group. But I think that the time of deaths were manipulated a little bit, so that could change things. Like, we definitely know that Kanata, her thing was set up ahead of time. It was like not a trap, but it was like a mechanism with that whole thing. I'm guessing with the phone and the stun gun to have it set to go off at a certain time, right? Yeah, that too. We know because 2 people were killed on different floors. I think the people on each other's floors will have different information. That was when Kinjo fainted at that time. So we just need to know everybody's, like, where were they at the time of all of this? It's best to listen to everyone as much as possible. We'll begin a summary of the case. Satsuki will help too. The people who surveyed the 2nd floor and the people who checked the 3rd floor saw and heard differently, so we have to gather information. As Kobushikawa said, Kinjo doesn't know anything, so let's explain the incident and sort out the order in which the incident occurred. First, before BDA rang this morning, Maeda, Taira, Iranami, Atori, and I were waiting for everyone to gather at the restaurant. After 1 hour, Mikako-chan arrived, but the rest were not coming, so we felt something was wrong and decided to find Kanata-chan and Yamaguchi-kun. Then, on the 2nd floor, we found Ohara fainted, and fortunately he was able to come to his senses, but right after that, on the 3rd floor, there was a strange sound that went wild. So we decided to act in 2 groups, the 2nd floor investigation group and the 3rd one. Kurikawa, Ohara, and me on the 3rd floor. As for the 2nd one, it was Taira, Kobushikawa, Atori, and Iranami who took over. And there is that door. There's that door in the library that we couldn't open. So because I was thinking, like, is there any way that somebody could have gotten from, like, the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor without anybody seeing? But everybody seems to have, like, been together for the most part. But that was never brought up at all. Alright, so you're saying the viewpoint diverges from there. Is that right? In my case, I heard a rough story from the others in charge of the 2nd floor investigation, but there are probably many others who don't know about it yet. Shall, Maeda, Kurikawa, and me talk about the 3rd floor first. We went up to the 3rd floor, and then each of us decided to check a room. Okay, so people did separate after, so something could have happened. Maeda went to the art room, the epicenter of the strange sounds. I checked the science lab. Kurikawa decided to check the rest of the rooms. The empty classrooms and casino. There was nothing wrong. Like Ohara said, I headed to the art room, where I was able to confirm the identity of the strange noise. The sound that was coming from inside the locker. What I found inside was Makaro's hands and feet tied up. I mean, it's Makaro with her hands and feet tied up. I just love the idea of just Makaro's hands and feet, not her, separated from her body. Inside the art room locker was Makaru, with her mouth taped and her limbs were bloody, and she was kicking the locker door to try to open it. That was what the roaring sound was. And I hate to say it, but I'm also, if I want to think about a culprit, I'm just trying to think about characters who are a little bit more inconsequential to the story. Like, there's characters I feel are going to be very important even up till the end. So, like, Makaru, and possibly Kurikawa, definitely Akane, or Taira, and Kinjo. Did I say Kinjo already? And of course me. So I'm thinking like Kinji, the dude with the green hair, Haru. I feel like they're not as important characters, so we wouldn't miss them as much. So I feel like any one of those characters could be. And then there's Satsuki as well, the clown. Like, she hasn't really done much for the story. I feel like she's not going to be a super important, like, character. So I hate to think about it that way, but, like, those to me, like, characters who don't feel like they're as important to the story are more likely to be suspects. I mean, Haru's not very smart unless he's been playing dumb the whole time, but I don't think so. Now, he could be somebody that could be used as, like, oh my gosh, what is the word I'm thinking of? He could be, like, an accomplice. Maybe the killer? Maybe somebody, like, told him how to kill? So maybe, I don't know. Makaru was trapped. And bloody, too? Wait, she wasn't in a position to talk to the others either? This incompetent child. I won't let this go so easily. Why me? I was just trying to organize the case. Maeda went to the art room and came along with Makaru, and I wondered how he found her. She must have been trapped. Well, at that time, the situation was so urgent that there were some things that could not be explained properly. But why was Makaru found like that? Why, you ask? I was taken off guard by the killer. Maybe I'm thinking Teruya too. Maybe Teruya because he knows a lot about, like, I don't know, items and tools. So using things like the thing in the art room, the tarp, like there was a lot of stuff putting together, except, so Kinji was the one who had the cell phone, so somebody took that cell phone from him, allegedly. I don't know. You also say that you were off guard. Don't worry, unlike the cop over there, I didn't give a damn. Whew, what do you mean? Don't mind and continue the discussion. I'll tell you after, while I watch you guys shovel some more. You really are a piece of... Isn't there even cooperativeness in here anymore? Ignore Makaru and keep talking. Even if you don't know, I have to reason based on what I heard just now. Yeah, then I'll continue. After taking Makaru out, we came out through the corridor, but then Kurakawa and Ohara called out, mentioning the science lab door was not opening. As I said earlier, I went to investigate the science lab, but the door was tightly closed and couldn't be opened. In my attempt, I tried to force it open, but it was no use. The effort didn't seem good at all, so Kurakawa joined, who came from investigating the other places. Yes, there was even a scream coming out of the science lab. The four of us who were on the third floor all focused on opening the door, and finally we succeeded in opening the door to it. Was Kanata-chan dead? Shortly after, the body discovery announcement came out. Everyone knows by now from seeing Inori's body, but it was so horrible that she was shocked to death and she couldn't even move. But the crime didn't end there. Yes, it came out again. Another BDA. That's Yamaguchi's BDA that we found in the library, right? In order to see what had transpired, we went down to the second floor and joined you guys. And we also checked Yamaguchi's body. That's all from our report on the third floor investigation team. As for us, who checked the second floor, we're no different. Each of the four were put to investigate a classroom. And I, who went to the library, found Yamaguchi-kun and Kinjo-kun, and then the rest of the guys discovered the corpse one after another, and then the BDA rang. So, roughly, that's how the case played out. Yeah, at first glance, it was like a murder case, just like two people died overnight, and we found them one after another, but the biggest problem with this case is the killing was this morning, the same day, and they went to the same areas as us, even the same hour, and committed a murder. Now, oh gosh, I can't remember. Was it this one where I said that, like, they said the time, but they didn't say AM or PM, so could it have been, like, 8:40 p.m., so he'd maybe been dead for a while, and the whole thing about why they needed the fresh blood was to make it seem like it had just happened. Is that, you mean the estimated time of death in the Monokuma file? Okay, let's get into this, yes. That's right. According to the Monokuma file, Yamaguchi and Inori died at the time we were investigating the second and third floors. That would be so easy if that was the case, if we could just say, like, oh, it was a different time. I realize this, but as much as we've been acting in pairs and working with each other, we can prove everyone's alibi. That's not the only thing weird, right? When the science lab door was closed, we heard Inori scream clearly with the door in between. But when we opened the door, there was no one inside. So we know that this was set up ahead of time, so that's easy enough, but we had to figure out how somebody would be able to shut the door from the inside. We have a locked room scenario, guys. This always seems to happen about how the person was able to get out of the science lab but have the door sealed shut from the inside. Wait a minute, that's the same for us. The place where Uharu-kun was found was near the stairs at the second floor. To get out of the library after killing Yamaguchi-kun, you must pass through there, so you couldn't have missed them. When you went to search the library, did you go right away after breaking with the others who went to the third floor? Yes, when I went to the library, Yamaguchi-kun was already dead. If the culprit killed them in the library, I couldn't have missed that. And even if we say they secretly came out, Kanata-chan was killed too. That's easy enough. That's easy enough to know about, like, Kanata. Like, that was set up ahead of time. So the person could have killed Yamaguchi in the meantime, but I doubt that. To go up to the third floor, they'd have to pass Maeda-kun, right? All those things don't make any sense. I didn't ask that far. Don't jump ahead. He still isn't a fan of her because he still thinks she's a criminal. Oh, yes, sorry. What are you sorry for? You don't have to apologize to that guy. That's how Kinjo is. He doesn't like you anyway, so don't worry. Everyone else is not thinking badly of you, okay? He's like, I don't think badly of you because you're a cute girl. Oh, no, it's alright, Kobishikawa-kun. No matter what others say, it is true I stabbed Kazuna-chan, and it is true that Ayame-chan died because of me. I don't deserve to say anything else. If you know that, then let's continue. I also don't want to waste my time talking about bitter stuff, even in class trials. So then, the biggest issue right now is how did they go back and forth without any of us noticing in that short time? Yeah, Inori and Yamaguchi's time interval was only 5 minutes. It's definitely impossible to kill in 2 places that are separated by different floor levels. It looks like that, but is that really how it happened? Let's think based on what we have investigated. I may have found the secret of this challenge. Alright, we got the non-stop debates. Oh, very helpful, thank you. I always like to be refreshed about it, but of course it was in Korean, so I'm like, alright, cool. I'm pretty sure I remember how to do this. A short time avoiding our eyes, it's impossible to kill 2 people. Not necessarily. Yamaguchi was killed after. Do you know what it was that killed Inori? So this is the one part of this where I have a pretty good idea. Electrocution by a stun gun, right? I have a pretty good idea of how this happened. Maybe it was a stun gun that does make an electric shock against the body. But it's not close to the body, so it wasn't affected by it. Oh, can we talk about the flood, about that's the reason it was electrocuted, why it would work? If you think about the scene of the incident, can't you think of anything else? Okay, this is easy enough, I think. The suspicious stun gun that killed Inori is definitely a melee weapon, however, the stun gun is a suppression weapon. Not a lethal weapon. So the killer didn't really directly target the stun gun, but what special circumstances were used? Special circumstance in which Inori can be electrocuted even if they're not in the crime scene. No, the weapon that killed Inori was definitely a stun gun. It may not have been a direct hit from the stun gun. It wasn't a direct hit, but the weapon was the stun gun? Are you saying some kind of ghost hit? Have you been to the science lab at least once? Wasn't that sea of water enough to overflow the corridor? At first, I was wondering why they needed to do this. The fact that the science lab was turned into a sea of water. Inori was electrocuted. What was the cause to make this happen? Oh, if you let Kanata-chan submerge in water and drop the stun gun, you could cause an electric shock without touching the stun gun directly. But wait a minute, the stun gun itself was just a suppression tool. It doesn't come out with enough voltage to kill people in no time. Of course, that also depends on the device. However, if you allow water to pass electricity, it would be left enough for a person to pass through their body. Yeah, if that were the case, wouldn't the killer be able to electrocute indirectly with water, even if they didn't use the stun gun with their hands? Oh, okay. He seems so confident, but he's so dumb. No, no way, Maeda. Your reasoning has a bunch of flaws. What's wrong all of a sudden, Kobashikawa? Listen, I tried to reason my head wrapped around this crime for a while, but this logic is so wrong that it just doesn't fit. I've always been beaten by Maeda, but today I won't lose to you. You're arguing for such a useless reason? Useless? You said it was useless? Fine then, Maeda. Unfortunately for you, I found out what's wrong with your reasoning. Now then. You know what? I shouldn't call Haru dumb after how badly I was at the last trial. This is my chance to point out your mistake. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. Is it enter or shift? Because I just want to, I think I hit shift on the actual thing. Let's assume the stun gun was submerged. Certainly, you can electrocute without touching the body directly. But in order to get into the water, someone should be in the science lab. Oh, okay, this is easy enough. The foam, yeah, after all, it doesn't change to go back between the second and third floors. Right, I was saying about, like, that alarm going off, that's what knocked it into the water, not necessarily. If you only drown the stun gun, you can operate it remotely. That's impossible, only with superpowers. The stun gun moved on its own and fell into it? There is a tool that literally moves. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Yes. I was like, I'm taking a chance, but I'm like, pretty sure that's it. Kobashikawa, maybe. There may be one. A tool that moves by itself. What? In fact, the science lab stun gun wasn't just dropped. Next to it, a mobile phone was connected with a strap. The cell phone? You mean the one that Uhara discovered? Yeah, that's right. Maki's mobile phone. It was the one that disappeared, and you said it was there. Also, you said it was a self-moving tool? Why does the cell phone matter? Actually, it matters because it has a vibration function that was used. Hey, and that's about as much as I know for this trial, that I felt pretty confident about. Everything else, I'm like, I have no idea. Kinjo is right. That phone had alarm settings just before we heard Honori's scream. Oh, that's right. I understand now. So you connect the strap to the phone. Why is the alarm function related to moving? Now, I'm gonna say Kinji may not have had anything to do with this because he seemed pretty... he doesn't seem to be the most technologically advanced person. He had to be he had to be taught how to use a phone, right? Am I the only one who doesn't understand? Huh? Oh, Ohara, a vibration alarm function. You don't know what that is? Oh, right. Ohara lived in the mountains, so you don't know the achievements of society, right? Let the civilized people tell you then. I did not live in the mountains. Ohara, what I wanted to explain was that they drowned the stun gun using the phone's alarm function. The phone and the stun gun were connected by a strap. Probably, the killer set the alarm at the time when the stun gun was about to be drowned, and placed the phone in a corner as if it was about to fall off the edge of the desk. When this happens, the alarm goes off at the present time, or preset time, and the vibration function occurs. The cell phone moves little by little due to the vibration, and eventually it falls from the desk to the floor. I see, I understand now. So the stun gun that was connected to the cell phone fell along with it. What do you think, Kobashikawa? With this, it is possible to electrocute Inori remotely without anyone in the science lab, right? Oh, yes, I lost. Oh, I don't want to lose this time, but I lost to Maeda again. If people like Kinjo don't know, Maeda will be able to win. Is that a problem to win and lose? Yeah, why is he upset about that, dude? Sus. Take it seriously, this is a class trial. I think it's just more like his ego. He's just like, I just wanted to be right for once. I know that, but who would know about this? I only argued once because I thought my reasoning was better than Maeda's. It's fine, don't fight. Now, we have to focus on revealing the culprit's crimes first. Why am I mediating now? So, Kanata-chan was electrocuted remotely using a cell phone in the flood, right? Say, you found out that phone has an alarm function. Even if it's the type of phone these days, it looks like an old 2G phone. My question would be, is it waterproof? No, I don't think so. That's why it was broken, and that may have caused an extra electrocution, perhaps? Maybe? To, like, make it even more strong? Waterproof? The fact the stun gun fell into the water means the cell phone that was connected to it also dropped. Old cell phones would probably break because of the water. No, rather the cell phone was floating on the floor of the science lab, and it was in a broken state. The time was displayed was strange, and the colors of the screen had strange marks and lines. I just found out that the alarm was set among other features that were still functional. Oh man. That person, I mean, we may have been able to figure that out anyway, but that's unfortunate for the killer that the phone still showed that. So you can't use any other functions again? That's a little disappointing. Even if it's out of signal, it was still a mobile phone that could bear a clue to the future. Hey, aren't you guys leaning down the road too much? If the problem's sorted out, let's move on to the next step. Fenori's problem was already cleared up. We still have yet to hear a lot more from this case. Oh, right. So as long as the killer can do a remote killing using the cell phone and the floor of the water, they don't have to run directly on the second and third floors. I see. If you set it up in advance, the rest just needs Inori tied up so she cannot move from that spot. They may have used a lot of tape for that purpose. It seems so. But if that's true, then what happened to Yamaguchi? Now that I don't know. I still have a feeling. Then again, to try and drag his body, once again, why would you go after Yamaguchi? Like, if you wrapped him in the tarp and moved him, you'd have to use something to move the body, right? Because he's a big dude. And then you'd need, like, get the... I'm guessing it has something to do with the tarp with that little hole. So you stab him in there. That's maybe where all that blood came from in the locker where Makaru was stored. And then dumped his body out in the library and then, like, taken the blood packs and put it around him so it looked fresh. Is there anything amiss? The culprit did the kill themselves. Wait a second, even if Kanachan's clear, is it the same with Yamaguchi-kun? When I discovered him in the library, there was only Kinjo who fell down. If Tyra's words are true, it would certainly be impossible to get out of the library without being noticed. Maybe why do I still go back to thinking Kinji had something to do with it? Like, maybe he put some of the blood on his head to make it look like he had a head wound? The time of death was 8:40 in the first place. It's impossible for any of us to kill at that time. Maeda-kun, Ohara-kun, and Mikako-chan went to the third floor, so it's impossible. Satsuki-chan, Kobishikawa-kun, Otari-kun, and I confirmed each other on the second floor, so it's all too far-fetched. And Kinjo and Makaru were in a state of being beaten by the killer, right? Then who's the killer? A ghost? No, wait, wouldn't it be possible for him? You, Kinjo. Kinjo? Well, but Kinjo-kun was hit by the killer in the head, right? No, I feel bad for Kinjo, but think of it as the terms for elimination. Kinjo and Makaru are the only ones who have no alibi at the time of the crime. Then Makaru's a suspect too? They were in the art room, though. It's too far from there, but Kinjo was found right in the library where Yamaguchi was dead. So you're saying he being knocked out was a self-made play. But even I saw the wound was quite severe to be a self-play, and I tried to heal it, but, I mean, you could say the same thing with Ayumi, right? Wasn't that prepared? If you're guilty in the first place, you'll get executed and die, but it's about hurting yourself. Isn't it possible for the criminal to get out simply by faking being a victim? Okay, so you all consider me to be the culprit. That's... Do you really think I did the murder? If you say that, it only sounds like an excuse. If you're not the culprit, then why don't you refute it logically? Isn't that your specialty? Because I really was fainted, I was lacking information. I'm not able to refute something that you think it's reasonable. What? This is maybe... Kinjo, are you declaring your defeat? Fastest trial ever. I'll ask this for confirmation. Yamaguchi's time of death was 8:40. It was written in the Monokuma file, so it is accurate. And as soon as you went up to the second floor and scattered for the investigation, Yamaguchi was already dead in the library. Yes, I guarantee this. You know, if you can't refute it, you'll confess you're the culprit, right? Kinjo, is he really the culprit? A person of justice, or a character who doesn't forgive criminals? I have to leave this emotion and look at things objectively. Is it true that only Kinjo and Makaru are without alibis and could have committed the crime? But I should think about this more. It's possible we concluded this way too early. Yeah, I'm looking at the clock right now. We're like a half hour in. Definitely not. Oh, this music is very intimidating. Alright. Now, the Yamaguchi thing, that's the one where it's a little bit trickier. so I might have some trouble here. The only one that could do this was Kinjo. You're free to believe me or not, but I was knocked out by the killer. That might be your own trick. He killed Yamaguchi in the library on the spot. You just have to pretend to be stunned by hitting your head. Like Kinji, perhaps? Actually, the only one in the library who could do it at the time was Kinjo. But the wound was real? If the wound was self-inflicted, it's a problem solved. Kinjo is really the killer? Guys, come on now. I'm guessing it's something to do with the library bloodbath, but I don't know which one to use it for. The wound is real, or what was the other one? Yamaguchi was lying in the library. The person who can kill Yamaguchi in the library was the one who was in the same library, and it looks like that only Kinjo was in there. But is it certain Yamaguchi was found in the library and died in the library? Let's recall what we investigated. This mystery can be solved too. Oh! The weapon, right? Let's use that. The plaster weapon. Knocked out by the killer. Okay. Oh no! No! Shoots. Yes? Oh, that's not right. Shoot. Okay. It's like he's so mad he starts swearing in Korean. Oh, I thought that was gonna be it. I guess not. Shoots. Well, we started strong here, but... Darn it. Okay. Oh, I really wish I could refer back to stuff. I really do. I don't know. I don't know what to pick here. Shoots. Okay, I've got limited... What was Tyra's testimony again? The certain Yamaguchi was found in the library and died in the library. Okay, so it's about the fact he may not have been killed in the library, and that's why I thought the plaster weapon was going to be the thing about, like, he was killed in the library on the spot. Maybe it's the bloodbath thing. Oh, or maybe it could be Tyra's testimony? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go with the bloodbath. It's... Okay. I don't want to fail this one. I don't want to lose it at any point, because I want those mono coins at the end. Kopashikawa, wait a minute. Is that really true? You're asking if it's true? What do you mean? Koishikawa, who said it. He killed Yamaguchi, who was in the library on the spot. That conclusion may have been wrong. What do you mean? It was the same logic as in Maki's case. There's no guarantee that the murder took place where the body was found. Huh? Then you mean he wasn't killed in the library? I think that's more likely, because of the blood stains where they were dragged from outside. Oh, that's right, okay. If Yamaguchi was really dead in the library at the beginning of the day, it would be an impossible crime. Then, where is it? Where did Yamaguchi die? I'm not really sure. Maybe it was in the art room. The art room? That's so far away. The main stage of this case is likely to be the science lab and the library. In fact, it might not be an exaggeration to say that the art room is more important than these two. The reason why the art room is an important place and why Yamaguchi might have died in the art room other than the library. I saw that tool and thought, it's very little. That tool has blood on it. Okay, that's where we're going to be bringing up the plaster weapon. There were some plaster weapons in the art room. It's made of stone, but if you cut its edge fairly sharply enough and swing it as a weapon, it becomes such a spear that you could really cut easily in human flesh. No way. That spear made of stone was the thing that killed Yamaguchi-kun? It probably is. Because of the plaster weapons, it had blood spot. Wait a second. Yamaguchi died in the art room, but was he there? Isn't it a bit hard to say he died there? He could have been killed in the library and put back in that place for a while, right? That's not possible. There was plastic wrap with blood in the trash can from the art room. A plastic wrap? Kinjo found it too. You didn't have much time to investigate it. That's right, so I couldn't realize that the plaster weapon had blood on it. I just listened to Maeda's theory and found out its connection. Then, how is the plastic wrap used? As Maeda said, there's blood on the plaster weapon. There's a high chance the murder weapon is this. The Monokuma file also said something sharp. If so, the killer would have killed Yamaguchi with wrap around the blade of the shedding. You said the wrap was covered in blood, right? I mean, is that a tool to prevent blood from getting into the spear? Or into the weapon? I realized that, but isn't there something odd? They used a wrap to keep the blood from getting into it, but Maeda said the plaster weapon had blood on it. Isn't that contradictory? Did I not mention this? It wasn't just spread, it was faintly spread. That was not an ordinary blood mark. It was an oval, round blood mark, the size of a nail. Oh, how can blood be like that? I see. I understand after listening to Maeda. It was a simple accident that got blood on the plaster weapon. An accident? I don't know how many people have gone through the trash cans in the art room, but if you've seen the plastic wrap, you know. In the wrap, there was blood all over except in this one round hole. Oh, I see. If it were the original intention of the criminal, a spot of blood should not have been rubbed on the weapon, but somehow part of the wrap was torn. That's why the blood stain remained. Oh, then, as those two said, the culprit killed Yamaguchi in the art room with the weapon that was in the art room, and the evidence was put in the trash bin. That's great. These are excellent detectives. Wait a minute. Wait. I know that the wrap prevents blood from splattering. I get it, but that could have been done in the art room. By bringing the wrap to the library, then do the killing, and then dispose of the evidence in the art room. Of course you could see it that way, but it wasn't just a wrap that was in the art room's trash. Maeda, if you found out the wrap, you must have seen that thing too. Oh, that's the Inori's jacket. How about you tell the others about that? That thing. You mean something that was thrown into the trash with the plastic wrap. That must be... Kinjo, you mean Inori's white coat. Indeed, Inori's white coat with a lot of blood. As a result, Inori's body was not wearing a white coat. Why was the coat in such a place? Wait a minute, Kanata-chan she died in a terrible manner, but she didn't bleed at all. But there's blood on it. I don't know why Inori's white coat was in the art room, but one thing is certain. The killer used the white coat to wipe the blood off. Wipe it off? But isn't it still there? You can tell just by looking at the shape of the blood. In all likelihood, it's a blood stain that seemed to have been rubbed with blood at some point. You can see it was used to destroy the evidence. Well, but it was Yamaguchi who shed the blood, right? Where do you say they wiped the blood off? It's the art room itself. The art room had traces of blood on the floor. There were traces of blood left. As Kurikawa mentioned, there are traces of blood wiped off the floor of the art room. I've even checked with the smell, so I'm sure. I see. I didn't know about that, but there was blood on the floor. If that's the case, it proves they wiped the blood with the coat. Yeah, they must have been in a hurry because they did not make any attempt at trying to hide the coat or the tarp. Blood splattered on the floor of the art room? Someone mentioned this before. Only Yamaguchi shed blood. Then by process of elimination, that means the blood splattered in the art room is when Yamaguchi could died in the art room. Indeed, that would be good enough for the reason we didn't find these on the second floor. This is Kinjo after all. Even if we investigate for a few minutes, they will remain to solve all these cases. So he's like, so we shouldn't bother doing any work then. I can only put my reasoning up until this point. Even if Yamaguchi died in the art room, the mystery still remains unsolved. What? Which mystery? I mean, there's a lot of mysteries. There's like Makaru, why was she tied up? There's blood in the locker. Maybe Yamaguchi was shoved in the locker and like killed there? Maybe his body was stored in there for a while? I don't know. No matter where the body died, what you saw with your own eyes was Kakeru Yamaguchi's body, who died in the library. And the corpse must have been moved by the killer, which in turn means they somehow moved from the art room to the library. Maybe the door to the library that's in the back. Maybe there's a door connecting from the art room to the library, so somebody was able to move them that way. But the blood wasn't the blood like pooled from at the front of the library? I don't know. Oh, that's a surprise. Makaru's helping us. How frustrating this is. Anyway, think carefully. The time of death of Kakeru Yamaguchi and the time until you found the body. Oh. Hear about the spell bullet scan. Oh, this is new. Please have it in English, please. Okay, in the case of an ordinary non-stop debate, multiple truth bullets are given, and it's common to fire a truth bullet suitable for the opponent's statement. In this case, however, you can scan a bullet from another friend's yellow statement to make your own. Oh, okay, I remember this. To scan, press X, or escape while pointing the yellow text. However, if there's no specific skill for this, a considerable delay will be given to the scan, and if a friend's words miss during the scan will fail. Okay. Also, scanning a truth bullet doesn't mean it's the end, because you've got a truth bullet that will be the correct answer, but you need to refute it by using the scanned truth bullet as usual, the contradictory remark. You can't scan any statements either. You can only scan one truth bullet. Don't hesitate to scan if you hear suspicious yellow comments. Finally, scan bullets don't disappear unless you shoot them for correct or incorrect answers. If you scan the wrong statement, the scan will disappear and will go back to the beginning. Also, truth bullets other than those that have been scanned won't disappear until they're shot. In other words, in some cases. After scanning, you may skip all comments and go back to the beginning, but in the scan state, your speaking power will not be reduced unless it's a mistake. So you can refute the correct answer with confidence. Oh boy, that's a lot of information. Okay. Well, we'll give this a try. So, I mean, they wouldn't be introducing this if it wasn't... Oh, well, they're also only giving us one. Okay, so we're gonna have to scan a statement. What's the mystery? The place where Yamaguchi died is the art room. He was in the art room around 8:40, the time of death. At the time, we were already investigating the second floor. I was always in the hallway. There was no sign of anyone on the third floor. But how did Yamaguchi teleport to the library? That's the mystery. Reasoning is possible, but the contradictions don't stop. Wrong time of death? There's no such chance because all that's written in the Monokuma file is true. Okay. If Kinjo doesn't know, we're drawing a blank here. This is bonkers. Why do murders always happen all the time? Day or... Oh, day or night! Day or night! Yes! Yes! Did I not get it? Oh no, it didn't happen. Okay. I was on the right path about this. In our discussion right now, something important seems to have been misunderstood. It's clear the place where Yamaguchi died is the art room around 8:40. Except everything won't fit going back and forth. He did die in the art room, but there were bloodstains in other places and the body was moved to the library. It feels like everything was prepared in advance. There's only one thing that eliminates that possibility. It's the Monokuma file. The file has always been correct about its information. There's no possibility the Monokuma file was prepared in advance. Inform the time. Okay, if that's the case, it's not the Monokuma file that's wrong, it's us. We missed something vital here. When we missed from the information provided in the Monokuma file, compared to the previous Monokuma files, information that was not added only for this file. Okay. Oh, I'm glad I was right about that. Okay. I'm upset that I did that wrong, though. So it was up here. Why isn't it working? Work! Work! What the hell? Work! Oh my god, why didn't... Oh, this is so frustrating. It didn't even do anything. I don't know if I did something wrong there. I don't already have the truth bullet though, right? But I tried to press X and it didn't even work at all. Oh man, I'm so mad. I'm gonna fail this just because like I'm on the right path, but for some reason I'm doing this incorrectly. Oh no, okay, I'm gonna assume maybe it's already been added, the information's already been added. Okay, I'm just gonna try. I don't think this is right though, like, okay, let's go. No, damn it. Oh, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail. Ah! I've only got 2 more chances to do this, and then I'm gonna fail it. What were it? Was it X or... Okay. Was it shift? X, X, X. There we go. There we go, there we go. Okay, we got it. Woo, down to the wire. See, this is going to be tricky for future ones, though, to know that that's, like, a possibility. It's obvious right now, because, like, this is literally the nonstop debate where it's teaching us about this, but that's going to have to be something I remember for later ones, because it's not going to be so obvious. It's just so weird that the second time I was pressing X and it wasn't working. Alright, let's go. There we go. Day and night. Day and night? Guys, wait a second. Wait, there is something that bothers me. What's wrong, Maeda-kun? Does anyone have Yamaguchi's Monokuma file? I brought it the last time I checked. Why? Did you think of anything? Kinjo, read what was written in that Monokuma file without any mistake, please. Okay. The estimated time of death for the victim, Kakuro Yamaguchi, is around 8:40. Found in the library, sharply cut from the back next to the uvula. The weapon is presumed to be something sharp. No other visible trauma. Now I'm trying to remember with Inori's, what did hers specify AM? Or is it just Yamaguchi's that doesn't say that? Once again, all the more reason I would love to be able to just check the truth bullets whenever I wanted to. Something's weird, is it not? Something is weird. What is? In this Monokuma file, it says the time of death is 8:40, but it doesn't say whether it's AM or PM. Yeah, huh? What? It's better than the police, am I right? Yeah, pretty sad. I mean, Kinjo, he's still recovering from a head wound, so I'll give him a little bit of leeway. It was like that? I don't understand what they're talking about. Teruya and Kobazing, too. Explain it to us. What? Hey, why do you mention me and make me a fool? Did you understand, then? Please explain, Maeda. Okay, think for a moment. In the Monokuma file we've seen so far, indicated whether it was in the morning or afternoon. Okay, so yeah. Victim is Kyoka Maki. The estimated time of death is around 6 a.m. PM. Oh, it is. AM or PM are not written in this Monokuma file. It was a blind spot. I'm sure the Monokuma file was the only one that says the truth, but it's not being mistaken. Rather, it was us. It's lying by omission. It's not 8:40 a.m., the real time of the incident took place, the night before, 8:40 p.m. Then Yamaguchi-kun, you're saying he was already dead since last night when we were walking around. Wait a minute, aren't we jumping too fast here? Just because it doesn't say whether it was AM or at morning or night, it's not enough to conclude he died the night before. Maybe Monokuma forgot and missed it in the first place. Oh, I don't know. I'm starting to suspect Haru now, man. He's fighting this. He's kind of giving me, like, Mitch vibes. No, it's not a jump nor a leap. Rather, this case can't be solved unless it's this way. So that means we have to think about that way. Like, who has alibis from last night? At first, I was fainted, so I thought I was lacking information. But considering the premise of 8:40 p.m., now the back and front have started to fit. Still. Or do you want to ask Monokuma then? Eh? Until now, the Monokuma files always recorded the time of death in the morning or afternoon, but is there any reason for omitting that point only in this occasion? Well, that's... No comment. If you ask me that, I'll be the one in the trial. I've said it again and again. I've decided not to meddle with the trial. This is a big no. The Monokuma file always gives only the right information, and based on it, helpful for reasoning. It's a kind of service system. But now, because of the Monokuma file, it's causing confusion of misinformation. It's become a useless debate. I think there is a problem, Monokuma. A problem that I can't help you now. It is not saying anything. It's not saying anything wrong. I just can't tell you. I'm pretty sure this is it. The Monokuma files always and only tell the truth, but some may have felt it through this incident so far, right? According to the contents of each case, the description of the content is adjusted accordingly and properly orchestrated. It was orchestrated. In simpler terms, it's like this. For example, let's say the killer wants to implement a whole body trick for that. In that case, in the Monokuma file would be, it was drunk with XXX. Indeed, it's a delicate system that makes me sick. That's it. The Monokuma file is only a tool that helps in the investigation, not a tool to tell the truth, because then you guys will pay the price. It seems like you wouldn't know. Whoa. Why did that skip ahead? Weird. That's why the timelines were subtracted from the Monokuma file. Very strange, isn't it? What's that? I can't hear you. I don't know anything. La 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 la. It was bound to happen. In fact, because of this trick, it almost got us very badly. We were drastically wrong at those moments. No, it certainly looks that way, but are we really sure? Without certain evidence, it could just be an interference based on Monokuma's words and circumstances. Why are you so negative? Did someone stab you? Oh. She said, did somebody stab? Is that what happened? She's saying about checking the hand. Did the killer get stabbed in the hand? It's not like that. I just want to be sure. Haru is acting real sus. I don't know. Sure, it's not like we don't understand it. Well, that's the case. I'll be sure to submit evidence, as Haruhiko said. Shall we try it? You have evidence? Yes, before I used to think about whether this was done in the morning or at night, but I knew that timeline trick, and there was some solid evidence to support that claim. Oh, okay. The questions I felt during the investigation, I could feel it when I was examining Yamaguchi's body. Oh, okay, if Yamaguchi was dead for a day, the cause of these questions are understandable. That question is, stop bleeding. Hello. That's where they needed the blood packs for, to throw off the time of death. Yes. The proof is simple. Yamaguchi's wound was not bleeding. Huh? That's not it, is it? It was because the library was a bloodbath. That's obvious that that's the case, but anyone who's examined the body in detail could have felt a sense of something misplaced. The blood is recent in contrast to the library. Yamaguchi himself, though, did not have a single drop of blood coming out from his neck cut. You saw that? I didn't really check the body in detail. Definitely. It felt strange, too. When I heard about Yamaguchi's time of death and thought about it again, things connected in some way. Then let's sort this out. The blood was far gone. Is that what it means? It's been some time since he died, so the blood already stopped? Oh, I see. It supports the idea that Yamaguchi-kun was already dead yesterday evening. Wait a minute, please. Sure, that may be true, but what happened to the blood in the library? The blood was not dry, and it was just flowing. The blood in the library was just a diversion for the criminal to make us think that Yamaguchi just died. The blood that filled the library was probably what the killer used. That tool would be in the infirmary. Yeah, it's funny, I thought so far this has actually been pretty okay. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated, but I'm actually feeling like I've got a handle on it. Do you know that there's a refrigerator in the infirmary that keeps blood transfusion packs? Oh, it was for storage of the transfusion packs. I think I brought one for the injured man to drink when he was thirsty. No, inside there was a lot of transfusion packs for each blood type. I found out during my investigation this morning that the blood transfusion packs inside were gone. I didn't know because I couldn't go to the infirmary, as Maeda said. The blood in the library. It was a pool of blood made by transfusion packs. It was a room of lies. It was like that. It was a little weird when you think about it. I think I saw too much blood. The person went a little overboard. They should have been a little bit more subtle. In the beginning, Yamaguchi must have been killed in the art room, but it's also strange there was so much blood in the library. It could be said that they disguised him too much. From there, when it comes to the time of death, I have a guess. Maeda, do you remember? When the trial was about to begin, we met in the hallway on the second floor when I just woke up. Oh, are you talking about that time? Yeah, I definitely told Maeda about this. Right before being stunned by the killer, I saw Yamaguchi bleeding and fainted. What? Wait, obviously Kenzo was attacked, but of course it was at nighttime yesterday. Then Yamaguchi-kun was... Monokuma files, some bleeding, blood transfusion packs, and what Kinjo mentioned. I can only say if the evidence comes out one after another up to this point, we can make sure of things properly. Alright then, now everyone knows for sure, Kakeru Yamaguchi was not dead at 8:40 this morning, but at 8:40 p.m. yesterday. So that's how it happened. Pretty good, Incompetent. I'll praise you on this one. I mean, you were locked up anyway, so you didn't know that. Shut up. Don't pretend to be all smartass. I want to get into that. I want to get into Makaru's thing. Like, when did this happen? How did it happen? But, oh well, I'll admit it for a little bit. I know the killer, as I said before, but I was not sure about the trick. I'll tell you that my gaze on the incompetent has changed by about 0.1%. That was a compliment, right? I guess all the mysteries have been solved because Yamaguchi was already dead yesterday. The trick for Inori was solved, too. That also includes the movement of the blood spots, and the corpses all over the place were indeed solved, too. However, the real issue begins after this. Then, who's the killer? That's the problem we have on our hands. That's... Hey, Makaru, you want to jump in and say something? Yeah, it's too early to be happy just yet. Even if we solve all the tricks, mysteries, and questions, we still don't know the culprit. This is a bad outcome. But if the contents so far are true, the criminal deliberately wanted to make 8:40 p.m. and 8:40 a.m. different. Timing was thoroughly calculated for the murder, right? So it'd have to be somebody who would have, like, an alibi. Also, spraying a blood transfusion pack and even had the guts to kill 2 people and attack up to 3 people in a single night. Yeah, this case is somewhat impulsive and different from the 2 previous cases, which are considered semi-accidents. I'm certain this was a planned murder committed with a crime plan. Kinjo's words are correct. Unlike the previous 2 incidents, I feel a firm malice. Are they really among us? A killer who carefully murdered like this? Kinjo, what should we do in this case? If all the tricks are really solved, and you only need to find the culprit, you should start with an alibi. Since you know the real time of death of Yamaguchi, you'll naturally know who the killer is. If you look at each alibi based on this. Can we go through each person? Because I don't remember where everybody was at the time. Alibi? You mean... Let's weigh each one. First of all, tell me what everybody did at 8:40 p.m. yesterday, the real time of death of Yamaguchi. Yesterday at 8:40? At that time, surely, wasn't it the time Tyra was making a fuss? Tyra's fuss? Oh yeah, that... Tyra tried to kill herself last night. It's no big deal. Wow. Tyra just got hurt a little. I was there. It's irrelevant for the case. Mikako-chan. Right, so that leaves Kurakawa, Otori, and I, who were there. Iranami, Koshikawa, and the 5 of us were supporting Tyra. When I recalled that, I think it was around 8:40. Okay, so I think you can remove the 6 of you from the suspect line. Damn it! Okay. I was thinking maybe Haru, but we could still have an accomplice. Usually there's accomplices with these third trials. So, the only ones left are the psycho cop, the priest, and me. Well, I was saying the priest. So, like, Kinjo got fully knocked out. Makaru was, like, tied up. Now, she could have done that to herself, but I don't know. And then the priest, like, he could have literally just put some blood on his head and pretended that he got knocked out. So I'm still thinking it's Kinji. Which is wild, the idea that the priest might be the one who's kind of like the most malice behind this, the one who planned this out the most, you know, thou shalt not kill and all that. But isn't that weird? Those 3 were 3 people who passed out because they were aimed by the criminal. Have you guys not learned anything from the last case? It's nothing you need to think about too hard. I don't want to doubt this, but in this case, there's only one possibility. There's proof one of the testimonies was lying. Whew. In between those 3, someone lied? First, let's be honest as possible. Why don't you tell us what you were doing at 8:40 yesterday? I was in the 3rd floor area. I was hanging out on the casino side. Unfortunately, no one can testify for this, but... I was also checking the front door, but as I mentioned, I can't prove it because there was no one around. Same here. What? There were no witnesses for the other 3? So you're saying all 3 are possible to commit the crime? Well, one of the 3 was not attacked by the killer, but what if they pretended to be attacked? I'm sorry, but Kinjo, Uhara, Makaru, can you tell us the situation when you guys were attacked at dawn? If this solves your doubts, when it was a little over 3 a.m., I was on the way from the first floor to the second floor. I usually went to the library side, so I moved there. When I went inside, Yamaguchi was down. I figured he was already dead by now, but at that time it was necessary to find out if Yamaguchi was simply stunned or dead. But as I was trying to approach him, you were ambushed. Right. Normally, I'm not always nervous, but I think I was off guard for a moment. Probably the killer aimed for that point, and they showed Yamaguchi's body to me. They showed it to you? Yeah, do you understand what I mean? Yamaguchi had been moved to the library. It was not as bloody as it is now. Then, in addition to simply confusing with Inori, they used it as bait to attract Kinjo. I wondered why I was only stunned and not killed, but they will regret it. In return for keeping me alive, I'll find them out, and they'll be punished accordingly. I don't understand why nobody is aiming for Kinjo, considering, like, he's way too sharp. It was a similar situation for me, but it was probably earlier than Kinjo. I was attacked near the stairs while trying to go up to the third floor. How about you, Makaru? Well, it's roughly similar. I was attacked near the art room and lost my sight somehow. When I woke up, I was inside the locker. But it all happened in the middle of the night, right? Now it seems that all 3 people were attacked at different times, and there are no witnesses. So how do we know who the killer is? No, even if it were just attacked, it doesn't seem a little different. Doesn't it seem a little different in the method? Right? Exactly. Like, Kinjo was fully knocked out. Kinjo, right? Yeah, Kinji. I always get Kinji and Kinjo mixed up. Makaru was, like, tied up and put into a locker, and Kinji just had, like, some blood on him. It seemed like he was being, he wanted to be found on purpose like that, so he'd be like, oh, it couldn't have been me. The method? The attack method. Kinjo and Ohara, I know we saw them get directly beaten and bleeding, but Makaru was not bleeding nor assaulted in any way. Oh, he's going the other way. There's so much blood, you could easily just dab your head a little bit with some blood. Then you think Makaru is the culprit? Do I have to tell you every little thing now? It's chloroform. That's what they did. What? So it was chloroform they used. It sounds rare, but it comes out in use for a lot of things. For example, tap your mouth with a handkerchief. That'd be an effective way to get someone into a coma. You mean that stuff is in this school too? If you had searched the science lab with even a little interest, you would have been able to find it right away. But it seems your stupidity is not going away. Remembering the moment just before the attack, it must have been a handkerchief that was put in my mouth. Okay, if that's what it was. Who really is the culprit? When it comes to an alibi, one of those 3 are still a suspect. Don't think about the process. Let's consider the cause. Why were they ambushed? Why only them? Why them? Well, the killer's a little strange. It wasn't enough to kill 2 people, so they attacked 3 people. So maybe they did it because it was the people that, like, are basically cast off from the rest of the group, so they wouldn't have alibis to make it easier to suspect them. We put it simply, isn't it because they wander around at nighttime? And if they had some alarm for vibrations prepared in advance, but the corpse was found, it'd be a headache. So, I mean, I was saying at first, like, maybe Kinji's not the one because he doesn't seem to know technology too much, but maybe he was playing dumb, or maybe he had an accomplice to help him with that. Maybe, but... Oh, I have a little guess. I didn't say this because I wasn't sure, but the cell phone was used to kill Inori disappeared after I was attacked. I mentioned this to you, Maeda, didn't I? Oh, you were looking for it in the second floor hallway, right? Oh yeah, Uharu-kun had the tools necessary for the crime, so they attacked him and took it from him. I don't know, I don't think so. I think Kinji's in on it. I see. Then there was a reason for Uharu's ambush. If that's the reason, why did they attack Kinjo? If Kinjo moves normally at the time of the crime, it'd be difficult for the culprit to get out. Plus, he's the ultimate police officer, right? There was also the results of the 2 previous cases. Actually, in this case, Kinjo is struggling like this because the trial began without Kinjo collecting enough clues, right? Even though I did research properly, your tone seemed to pass it all to me. Hey, let's not do that. If the trial fails, Kinjo's life is also at risk, you know? Well, it seems like I can see the truth after coming this far. Huh? I've been suspicious of it, but when I think about the information I've gotten so far, I can see the silhouette of only one person, the killer. I believe some of you may have realized it. How about it? Oh, hopefully I'm right. Hopefully I'm right. The killer's silhouette can be seen? What do you mean, Kinjo-kun? You know the killer? Everyone's remarks so far, with the outline of the case and the alibis combined, makes a person who's making contradictory statements. That person is the true culprit of this case. Oh shit, contradictory statements. Is it them? If the alibis were all true, the culprit must be one. Between Kinjo, Uhara, or Makaru, the one who made a contradictory statement. I'm thinking it's Uhara. I'm glad that they narrowed it down to 3. Alright, let's see if my choice is correct. I mean, I've got a 1 in 3 chance of this being right. Kinji! Hey, there we go. I can't believe it! I can't believe my choice from the very beginning was correct. I literally just guessed it was him because I said... Why did I even say at the beginning why I suspected him? I guess just because he's like an inconsequential character who got like knocked out, quote unquote knocked out. But we're only an hour and a bit in. We could have a situation like we did with the last trial where it could be somebody completely different, or there could be an accomplice. Maybe he wasn't the murderer at all. Maybe he was just helping out. Don't tell me. Was it you? Uhara. Kinji Uhara? Eh? What in blazes? Alright, wow. That one felt like it went really quick. So we'll see. Maybe this is a straightforward one like the first one, but somehow I doubt it. Alright, well, that just felt like it flew by. Okay, so far, it's been pretty straightforward. More straightforward than I was expecting. But I feel like it's going to get more complicated now, and I'm going to have to be, like, I'm going to have to bring my A game to this, so... we're going to stop for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the first part of the class trial. I'm enjoying it. I'm surprised, but not surprised at the same time. But I feel like it's going to be more complex than this. Maybe he was working with somebody. Maybe somebody who knows technology. So as for, like, somebody who might be a accomplice, I'm going to say either Teruya, who is good with tools, or I'm going to say Haru, because he seems to have been kind of, like, pushing back a little bit more than some of the other characters. So that's my guess if there is going to be an accomplice, whether they're the killer or whether Kinji's the killer. Not too sure. Maybe I'm completely wrong about it. Maybe Kinji was working alone. Or maybe it's just... I don't know. We'll have to find out next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned next week for the finale of the Class 3 trial. Until then, bye guys. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Emily Hornsby, Lady of Eternity, Revealing Storm, Asborn Kennedy, Jared Fan, Harry Gazif, Icognito, and Zoran Ether.